Duncan and James, thanks so much for that introduction. I'm going to put this down here. First, I'd like to change the tone a little bit. This has nothing to do with me. This has to do with 450,000 UPSers in this world. That's first and foremost. And so the thanks is on behalf of them for me to come receive this award is my great honor. On a personal note, I would tell you, I would start with the U.S. line that it's good to be home, which probably you would say that doesn't sound quite right with my accent. I'm not from Birmingham, I'm not from London, or let's just say anywhere. Actually, I'm a bit of a U.S. nomad. I was born in Germany. I've relocated 25 times so far in the world. I hope I'm done. But I would tell you that in my entire life, the one place I have lived most contiguously in the world is the UK. I was asked by my mentor that sits over here to my right, Wolfgang Flick, if you could stand for me, please. We were founded, UPS, 111 years ago out of Seattle. We came to Europe in 1976. I think Wolfgang was employee number 4 or 5 or something like that. He rose to be the first international non-American to run any business unit in the history of our company. And as I said, was a mentor of mine. I wouldn't be here without him. And quite frankly, it's he and the many UPSers in this region and this part of the world that deserve this award. But as I said, I did have a special place in my heart here for this country. 4 children, educated here. I never thought I would know what sticky toffee pudding was, and it's my favorite dessert in the world. And I could go on. And it culminated actually in the year 2012 when Lord Coe and LOCOG came to us, and we had just finished doing the Beijing Olympics, and it was a great success of ours. Said we would like you to backbone the Olympics of 2012. And we said yes. The year was about 2008, actually. I do remember it very vividly as an American and very proud to be here and support it, is actually very much around this discussion tonight. I think those games actually were made by your volunteers in this country, if you recall that time, and your military, actually. They both saved the day, and I think it was still to this day the most magnificent games I've ever been a part of. But sometimes they give me a script to read and I have to go through things, so I'll try and weave in and out. I'll go back to Rwanda with you for a minute. I will tell you right out of the gate, next month I'll be in Tanzania and Uganda to replicate that model. So that model is really unique, and actually the video doesn't, in my mind, do it perfect justice, because it really is the #1 preventable cause of death in that country, and it really just is eliminated overnight when you get the convergence of corporate responsibility, technology, the good for humankind, and doing what's right. And it's taking off, and oddly enough, it comes out of Africa, which is a great thing. So with that, let me kind of talk about tonight a little bit. I want to tell you a little bit more about UPS, because that's just one piece of us and our 111-year legacy that I'm so proud to be part of. And it really does focus on the angle, from my perspective, of communities that, even though we're here in London and probably arguably maybe the greatest city in the world, there's many other parts of this world that need us. You saw Ed Martinez on the video and the foundation, and really what we were trying to portray in that video, because you probably would have asked yourself a question, or at least I would, why aren't those drones painted brown? And the reason is because we don't make drones, and it's a partnership. And that's what a lot of this discussion comes down to, is that we could probably go buy things, and we could probably at UPS, with where we are in the world, kind of look at that. But we really firmly believe that in this concept of corporate responsibility, oftentimes it's better to partner, because we can bring the best of what we have, and we can move into parts of this world with 450,000 of our employees and a global network that we have, and really provide support to where they need. Point 1 on that is the concept of volunteerism. We are blessed to have a great financial backing after 111 years, but we tend to never put our financial mark down until our employees put their hours in. And so what that means is that last year in the UK, our employees here in the UK, I think they number, Mark, 8,000, 9,000, 10,000 here now, volunteered 30,000 hours to the community in places that are equally as stunning to me as that video. But we have a goal at UPS, and that is the following. By 2020, we will volunteer 20 million hours in this world. We believe that is the step to good. That leads you to videos like that situation behind me. It leads you to further partnering, and it leads you to the real heart of corporate responsibility. It's about people doing good for people. You move through that, and right after you get to volunteerism, if you think about our business model, you move into this world where in the U.S. we're moving 7-8% of GDP. Depends on the world, but look, we recognize that this earth that we live on, we have an impact, and it's not the most healthy impact. Between our 500 aircraft that we fly every night and the 120,000 vehicles, we have a responsibility there to try and deal with the environment. I would tell you in a kind of an odd way that we have about 10,000 vehicles on the road across the world today that are rolling laboratories, or you might say laboratories here, that are everything from electric to CNG to LNG. You'd be proud to know, or I'm kind of proud to know, that the first electric vehicles in the history of our company started with Wolfgang and I in Camden down here when we put 15 Modec vehicles in. And now we have 10,000 in this world, and it's a real pleasure. Right now, these vehicles on an annual basis log about 1 billion miles on an annual basis, and essentially they all do good for our world. As I said, we really need to lean into this. I told you about our volunteerism hours. Our goal is by 2025 that even as our business grows across the globe, or that's our plan, we want to put somewhere between 10 and 15% less emissions into this globe's atmosphere than we do today as we grow this business. And that's a commitment, that's a purpose, and we believe in that. And I believe in that personally, and it's an investment, and I believe all of us need to certainly take that seriously. You come to a city like this and you move to the next, if you will, purpose that we believe in, and that is that cities like this in London, there are other issues besides just the emissions. You have congestion, you have this convergence of e-commerce, and you get into this world where cities in this world potentially can be in trouble if we don't solve for this. If we don't solve for congestion, if we don't solve for human lives. United Nations says 2/3 of this world's population will be in cities like this by 2050, and we have to deal with that as a company like UPS, and not just us, all of us. And so we're partnering through the world, quite frankly, to deal with that. Oddly enough, Wolfgang is a German, although he would tell you he's European, he's not German. That was our first discussion we had some years ago. We went to Hamburg, we went up north to Hamburg. It's one of those unique cities that said, hey, look, help us with this city congestion. And so we did, and we went up there and we moved into that city, basically the way we used to deploy our vehicles in and crowd the traffic, if you will. We changed the model, we flipped it around, we forward deployed the citizens' volume and trade that they wanted for the day, and then we basically invented an electric tricycle, if you want to call it that. And now what happens in the narrow, beautiful streets of Hamburg is we go to the edge of the city, and then we put our employees in, and we move through that city with absolutely no congestion, with no emissions, with no noise, and with no anything. And the mayor of Hamburg, quite frankly, says it's a game changer like he's never seen. It's moving now to a few other cities. It's moving to Paris. It's moving to Pittsburgh. It's moving to Toronto, and it's moving to Fort Lauderdale, and Leuven, actually, one of my favorite cities in Europe. And it will be here very quickly as well. So those kind of issues that we talk about, responsibility, is where we continue to move across the world. Closer to home here, by the way, is the issue with electric. It's a payload mileage issue, and we haven't been able to find the right mix of the power of the battery of the vehicles to what they can actually move. yet in partnership, to that word again, we partnered with UK Power Networks here in this country, Cross River Partnership, and the Office of Low Emissions. And we actually have a brand new fleet of 35 here with a company here, based here, called Arrival. We actually have zero-emission tailpipe vehicles that now go further than anything in the world launched here, and that's what will show up on your city streets here in the coming months. You get back to Rwanda, I think that was obviously a fantastic move for us. As I said, we plan to move across the world in many ways on behalf of the UPSers. I would just close with this, that as I said, I'm honored, quite frankly, to receive the award. It has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with our UPSers across the world and what we believe in. It has to do with purpose. We believe in that very much. The UPS Foundation, Ed and I are great friends. He's the one that pointed me to UNICEF, quite frankly, because I've found new passion in that. But at the very end of the day, you get to a company like UPS, you get global trade, you come to a country like this, I would tell you that it would be normal to be standing in any city in the United States of America and receive this award as UPS, because we're, quite frankly, many of you, you live in New York, you know us, it's a brand that's pretty powerful. We were born out of that place, and for us to receive honors and awards to recognize what we believe in, I would call it natural. What is not natural is to come to a country, in this case, United Kingdom, a guest, as I was taught early on, we're a guest in your country. We don't hail from here. And for you to recognize a brand like ours and reward us for the purpose that we believe in, as part of not just the mission to drive economics and trade, but because we believe, or you believe, you might be a better place because we're here, is really rewarding to us tonight. And so for that, I would say on behalf of every UPSer here, and there's many of us here tonight, thanks for coming. And I would just say I look forward to what all of us now can do in the next 111 years together to really take this forward. So thanks for the time tonight, and thanks so much for the honor. Right?